What if I told you that you have to vanish in order to really discover who you are? This is about pulling back from the distractions and expectations that have taken up your time and attention, not about fleeing or disappearing into thin air. I am referring to a conscious and silent choice to prioritize oneself in a manner that seems almost odd in the modern society. I was lost a few years ago. Perhaps you sensed it too. Every day when I woke up, I felt as though I was moving continuously but never making any progress on a treadmill. I felt cut off from myself because of jobs, social media, and the never-ending quest to be up to date. Expectations that weren't even mine were drowning me. I noticed myself comparing my life to that of someone I didn't even know one evening while aimlessly browsing through my phone. In a way, their happiness and success made me feel less. It dawned on me then, whose life am I living? I came to see that I had been living for other people, trying to get their approval, finding affirmation and shaping myself into the person I believed I should be. It was suffocating as well as taxing. I therefore made a decision. I didn't tell anyone about it or give them an explanation. I didn't request consent or authorization. I just started to back off gradually. I took a week vacation from social media. I stopped checking my alerts in favor of journaling every morning. I started setting aside time to think about who I was and what I wanted for myself and no one else. It felt weird at first. There was an awkward, almost eerie silence. But eventually I began to hear my own voice, which I hadn't heard in years. My life was altered by that choice to vanish in the most subdued, deliberate manner. It wasn't about running away from the world or ignoring my obligations. It was about making room for me to find myself again. And I want to tell you about that today. This is a challenge for you, not just a story about me. Disappearing might be the perfect way to change your life if you've been feeling lost, overburdened, or trapped in your routine. By the end of this journey, you will see that disappearance is about taking a step back so that you can take a purposeful step forward, not about hiding. To hear what's really important, you have to tune out the noise. Are you prepared to make the initial move? Please hit the notification bell and subscribe before we start so you don't miss any more incredible films like this one. Let's begin. Why life feels stuck in Chapter 1. Why does it seem like you're not making progress no matter what you do? It's easy to feel stuck these days. There are obligations, demands, and diversions to contend with every day. You're already behind schedule when you get up, attempting to catch up on emails, messages, and deadlines. Then there's the ubiquitous scroll, the carefully manicured social media profiles of others that cause you to doubt your own. The fact is, though, that you are not stuck because you are not making enough effort. Your energy is being drawn in too many different places, which has left you trapped. Consider this: how many times do you begin your day in a state of reaction? You're immediately inundated with other people's priorities when you unlock your phone. Your brain capacity is consumed by emails, notifications, and the most recent social media drama before you've even had a chance to consider what you need. You are not to blame. The world we live in is set up to distract us. For example, social media is designed to keep you scrolling. The never-ending feed, likes, and comments are all dopamine boosters that temporarily boost your mood but eventually deplete it. You have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances, according to Marcus Aurelius. You will find strength if you realize this, but how can you use that strength when your mind is always racing with thoughts? The diversions themselves aren't the issue, what they're taking from you is. You lose some of your vision each time you evaluate your life against that of others. You lose out on something that could have had meaning each time you say yes to something you don't really care about. When you're not living your life on purpose, it begins to seem stuck. You are now a passive participant in your story rather than its creator. As a result, you begin to feel overburdened, overworked, and disengaged from the things that are really important. Furthermore, it goes beyond simple diversions. Expectations are another factor. Society has a way of imposing laws on us that we cannot see. You should have this employment by this age. You should have this property or that relationship by the time you reach that age. Even if such expectations are wholly arbitrary, it's easy to feel like you've failed when you don't live up to them. However, what if your failure isn't the issue? What if the issue is that your objectives are completely misguided? Let's consider our minds to be gardens. When neglected, societal pressure, distraction, and self-doubt become weeds. They suffocate the things that make you happy and content. It becomes more difficult to discern what's underlying the more you let them to grow. The good news is that you are in charge. Realizing that the life you lead isn't totally yours is the first step. It's a patchwork of unquestioningly inherited behaviors, comparisons, and expectations. You are not required to continue living this way. You are not required to remain stranded. But you'll have to take a drastic measure to change, get away from the commotion. Listen to the world inside of you instead than responding to the outside world. You can choose how much power you give the distractions or demands, but you may not be able to change them overnight. One tiny choice to vanish is the first step. Just enough time to start over and figure out what really matters to you, not forever. Chapter 2. The choice to vanish. What does it mean to vanish, you may be wondering now. Disappearance does not imply total oblivion or life abandonment. Disappearing instead means removing yourself from the chaos and diversions that keep you stuck, not from your obligations. It's about making room on purpose for transformation and clarity. Knowing why disappearance is important is the first step. It's nearly impossible to hear your thoughts, your inner voice, or the one that knows what you really want when you're surrounded by distractions all the time, such as social media, never-ending notifications, or even the expectations of those around you. It becomes muffled. To vanish is to get your attention back. To be clear though, disappearing has nothing to do with running away or isolating oneself. It involves introspection and having the guts to face oneself. It's about discreetly leaving the public performance stage to begin living your true self. It can be scary to pull back. Why? Because we've been taught that value is equal to a continuous relationship. You're winning more the more people see you, isn't that right? This is further supported by social media, which rewards visibility with affirmation, likes, and follows. However, growth is not the same as visibility. Actually, it keeps us trapped a lot of the time. You have less energy for true transformation the more you concentrate on performing for other people. Consider this for a moment: how much of your life is spent on behalf of other people? How frequently do you base your decisions on what you believe would satisfy, please, or impress someone else? The goal of disappearing is to end that loop. It's about allowing yourself to take a step back, even if it initially feels awkward. Is it advantageous to vanish? A wonderful thing occurs when you vanish. You begin to realize what's important. You can concentrate on your ideals, objectives, and wants when there are less outside distractions. You can live a genuine life by letting go of the need for approval from others. Additionally, you'll discover that you have more energy for the things that are really important. Disappearing frees up space for growth by removing the constant drain of performance and comparison. Consider it akin to tree pruning. You can make room for new, healthy development by reducing what is superfluous. Even the greatest thinkers in history recognized this. The Stoic philosopher and Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius used seclusion as a way to obtain perspective. He frequently discussed in his works the value of taking a break from the world's mess in order to concentrate on what really important. Why shouldn't you disappear if one of the most influential guys in history did? I'll tell you what I tell everyone that approaches me with the same question. In case you're wondering how to begin this process, start small. You don't have to make drastic changes all at once. Disconnect from email, social media, and other electronic distractions for 2 days. Journal, think, or just take in the quiet during this time. Communicate to others that you are taking a break. Simply state that you need room. You don't need to elaborate. Make time for isolation if you can. Make time every day to spend time alone with your ideas, whether it's 10 minutes in the morning or an hour in the evening. Despite their seeming insignificance, these tiny deeds have great influence. Regaining your life is a step at a time. Consider someone who has had a significant change. Their story frequently involves a period of seclusion, during which they took a break from the limelight to concentrate on themselves. J.K. Rowling. Rowling wrote for years alone without revealing her work to the world before Harry Potter became a worldwide sensation. She was able to produce something remarkable because she chose to concentrate on her art apart from outside influences. The idea is the same. Even if your metamorphosis isn't as dramatic, going missing allows you to regroup, concentrate, and eventually return stronger. It's simple to continue being visible, occupied, and distracted. But taking a step back is when true courage is found. It is in stating, regardless of how it may appear to others, "I need this time for myself." Being invisible is not a sign of weakness. It is an indication of power. It indicates that you are prepared to face the discomfort of solitude and silence, as you are aware that here is where change starts. Chapter 3: Changing via introspection. Silence is the first step toward true transformation. Deep reflection can be facilitated by clearing off distractions and giving yourself the gift of silence. Reflection is not merely a passive activity, rather, it is an active internal trip that reveals the truths about your identity, goals, and obstacles. Transformation starts in this area of subdued honesty. Imagine attempting to steer a ship over hazy waters without good visibility. You risk losing time and effort by getting lost. The fog is lifted by reflection. It enables you to map out your current situation and future course. But why is reflection so difficult? Sitting alone ourselves is not encouraged in modern life. We're taught to never stop striving, pushing forward, and pursuing new goals. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul, stated Marcus Aurelius, and the way to establish that retreat is via reflection. Clarity arises when you pause and reflect about your life. You start to see the behaviors that sap your vitality, the patterns that keep you stuck, and the dreams you've long disregarded. The first step to change is becoming aware of this. A complex setup is not necessary for reflection. A little privacy, some silence, and the courage to be honest with yourself are all you need. One of the most effective methods for introspection is writing. It slows down your thinking and makes you express your emotions. It enables you to pose difficult questions to yourself, such as, what do I really want out of life? What am I clinging to that isn't useful anymore? What kind of day would I like to have? People should write freely. I always tell them, allow your thoughts to flow without worrying about grammar or structure. Writing is a transforming act in and of itself. Reflection can also be facilitated by meditation. It's about watching your mind, not about clearing it. For 5 to 10 minutes, sit quietly and pay attention to your breathing. When thoughts come to mind, acknowledge them objectively and allow them to go. This exercise aids in the gradual development of emotional fortitude and clarity. Additionally, make an effort to check in every day. Spend 5 minutes reflecting at the conclusion of each day. What went good today, you ask? How might I have handled this differently? How did I live according to my ideals or aspirations today? Over time, these little moments of introspection increase your awareness and empower you to make deliberate decisions rather than responding to the chaos of life. You'll find that using these techniques to reflect is similar to holding up a mirror to your life. Investigating it isn't always simple, but it reveals the truth, and that reality serves as the basis for your own development. Over time, you'll discover that you begin to question what you truly desire rather than what other people think you should be doing. You'll learn which connections or behaviors are preventing you from progressing or which are advancing you. Additionally, you will be able to accept your fears. These anxieties are typically the imperceptible obstacles preventing you from changing. You can finally resolve these issues when you bring them to the surface through reflection. Although it can be difficult at times, growth occurs in discomfort. Reflection is more than just being aware, it's also about acting on that awareness. Choose 3 aspects of your life that you would like to see change. It might be your work, relationships, or health. Put them in writing. Begin modestly. If you want to get healthier, make a commitment to walking every day or drinking more water. Learn a new skill for 15 minutes every day if you want to advance in your career. Momentum is created by tiny actions. Keep a journal to monitor your progress. Consider your strengths, weaknesses, and ways to improve. This helps you stay focused and accountable. A fundamental component of the ancient Stoics' philosophy was their daily practice of introspection. For instance, Marcus Aurelius utilized his notebook to consider his ideas, deeds, and goals. In order to live his life in accordance with his principles, he wrote for himself rather than for an audience. The same is possible for you. Ask yourself, what did I do well today at the beginning or finish of each day? What went wrong and where? How can tomorrow be better for me? This is about progress, not self-criticism. You can develop a feedback loop that eventually aids in your decision-making by reflecting every day. Reflection is like cleaning a mirror. Your view is distorted when the mirror is covered in dust, but the image gets clearer as you polish it bit by bit. Your life is that mirror. Through reflection, you can clarify your vision of yourself by removing the dust of uncertainty, distraction, and anxiety. Honesty is necessary for transformation. To avoid dealing with the uncomfortable aspects of your life, it's simple to tell yourself reassuring lies. However, growth is built on honesty. You give yourself the ability to alter the reality when you're prepared to face it, no matter how unpleasant it may feel. Your tool for honesty is reflection. It's a method to cut through the clutter and get back in touch with reality. I've given you a task: spend 10 minutes reflecting today. Sit quietly, write, or practice meditation. One important question to ask yourself is, what do I need to let go of in order to move on? Don't answer too quickly. Take a seat with it. Allow it to develop and have faith that it will become clear. Chapter 4: Starting over from the beginning. Reflection and disappearance are the initial steps. The next step is the laborious, purposeful process of rebuilding. This is where transformation really starts small. Regular acts that bring your life into line with your beliefs and objectives, rather than big, abrupt changes. Consider your life to be a house. You've been heaping things upon precarious foundations for years, including distractions, routines that no longer work for you, and other people's expectations. In order to rebuild, you must demolish what is unstable and build a stronger structure piece by piece. The mind is where transformation begins. No amount of exterior change will endure if your beliefs are still based on outdated routines. Let go of external validation first. A cage that prevents you from experiencing full freedom is the need for continual approval. What would I do differently if no one was watching? Ask yourself. Take a growth-oriented approach. Errors are teaching opportunities, not failures. Every setback presents a chance to grow, change, and learn. Developing new habits can also be beneficial. The Stoic Epictetus reminds us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your life is organized by your habits. They determine how you allocate your time, effort, and focus. You need habits that help you achieve your goals if you want to become the best version of yourself. Begin with some fundamental routines, such as your morning ritual. Everything else in your day is influenced by how you start it. Establish a routine where focus and clarity are given priority. Don't check your phone when you wake up, for instance. Take 10 minutes to meditate or write in your journal. Even if it's only a quick stroll or stretch, get your body moving. Make a conscious plan for the day. Your metamorphosis is powered by your body. Take good care of it. Consume healthy, whole foods and drink plenty of water. Make quality sleep a priority as well. The rest cannot be negotiated. Learning is necessary for growth. Set aside time every day to pursue a passion or develop a skill. This need not be for someone else or for work. Select an activity that challenges and thrills you. Preserving your energy is essential to rebuilding your life. Refuse to do activities that exhaust you and accept those that are consistent with your principles. Keep in mind that every yes means that something else is no. After you've established your routines and thinking, it's time to discover your why. Everything you've built is protected and given significance by purpose. Consider these questions to discover your purpose. What makes me happy? What difficulties am I prepared to face in order to advance? How can I make a difference using my strengths? Your mission doesn't need to be ambitious or transformative. It must be important to you. Perhaps it's starting a family, making art, or establishing a successful profession. Your activities have direction when you have a purpose, which also enables you to overcome obstacles with fortitude. Transformation is a process of everyday dedication rather than a one event. Over time, small actions taken consistently lead to big outcomes. Let's use Oprah's stories to put things into context. Oprah experienced numerous rejections and disappointments before becoming a media tycoon. Years of persistent work and self-belief led to her achievement. It didn't happen overnight. Consider your life 1 year from today. Making a few minor adjustments now could result in a very different reality if you begin today. Taking care of a garden is similar to rebuilding your life. Distractions, negative habits, and limiting beliefs are the first things you should get rid of. Next, you sow the seeds of new values, objectives, and habits. Lastly, you tend to those seedlings with constant work and attention. The alterations may initially appear minor and even undetectable, but if you are persistent and patient, your garden will eventually thrive. It takes a lot of labor to rebuild. It calls for self-control, tolerance, and an openness to discomfort. However, the payoff is worthwhile. Living a life that feels genuine, meaningful, and in line with your true self. Begin now. Pick one behavior to develop, one way of thinking to adopt, or one limit to establish. Prioritize progress over perfection. Additionally, keep in mind that reconstruction takes time. However, you get closer to living the life you deserve with each brick you lay. It's not an easy road from disappearance to transformation. It calls for bravery, endurance, and a readiness to face hard realities. Unquestionably, though, the payoff is a life that feels purposeful, in harmony, and truly yours. It's your time now. What action can you take right now to start the change process? Perhaps it's setting aside time to think about your objectives, establishing a journal, or taking a vacation from social media. Make a commitment to whatever it is. I'm challenging you to vanish, not permanently, but long enough to regroup, concentrate, and re-establish a connection with yourself. Take a minute to dedicate yourself to your quest if this message speaks to you. Put "I'm ready" in the comments to show that you've decided to take a step back and change. And keep in mind that the world needs the most real, aligned, and focused version of you, not a louder version as you sometimes do. Remember to like and subscribe for more inspiring posts like this one. We'll see you in the next video, so stay strong. Nah.